you know. And
So how long, how many years, or what was the time span between you doing your first extra thing, or getting back into it after the family deal, and where you are now?
when I got serious,
Yeah,
uh, 2004.
2004. Okay, so you've been working on it.
Yeah, yeah. It's not an overnight thing, and anyone that tells you it is, they're lying.
Yeah,
It's not an overnight thing,
for sure.
unless you sell your soul for it, and it ain't worth it. It's and that's a part of the business I'm not even going to talk about. But
Right,
there's nothing worth your soul at
right.
all. You know.
Um, and going off of that and confidence, are you is it spiritually? Do you have to go there? I mean, your confidence has to come from a lot of places, you
Um,
know.
I am. I think spiritual has so many different connotations with it.
Mhm.
I'm definitely a Christian.
Mhm.
And that's my belief. I believe in the Most High God, Jesus
Mhm.
Christ. That works for me.
Right.
And to know that I have a God that has blessed me with talent and ability, it certainly makes it a little bit more easier for me to have confidence, so to
Mhm.
speak. Because, I don't believe that God or whoever anyone believes in, be it Allah, whoever, I don't believe that God gives us talents just for us to sit on it.
Mhm.
So if He's blessed you with something, it's a sin to not use it.
Right. Right.
It's a sin to keep it to yourself because then you're keeping blessings from other people.
That's a good one. I like that. I like that. And you got to feel like, I mean, that's been a part of your confidence, having that in you
Hmm.
and believing that, right?
Yeah, and that's not to say that it doesn't get shaken from time
Mhm.
to time. Like I said, sometimes I get so nervous, man. It's like I have tightness in my chest. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
God, I don't know if I can do this.
Right.
And then I just keep in mind, okay, God gave me this opportunity. I didn't come this far to choke.
Right.
So I just go in there and do it. And my wife she says, don't think about it. Just do it.
Right.
Go and do it.
And just repetition, right? I mean, you've been
Hmm.
doing it year after year after year. Just put yourself out in these situations that may at first be a little uncomfortable, right? But after a while, it's gotten better, huh?
It has gotten better, and you have to take those risks. You
Yeah.
can't stay in the safe zone because you'll never progress.
Mhm.
You always have to do something to elevate yourself, and in order to do that, you got to take yourself out of your element. You know.
For sure. And I actually teach, I work with interns, and I have to tell them the same thing all the time. You got to, it may be awkward to get out there and do your little stand up and do the on camera for the first time, but you just got to do it.
Take
You
a
got to do
risk.
it.
Yeah, take that risk.
Mhm.
They never know. They could impress you. Someone could come up with something so original, and you'd be like,
Mhm.
man, I didn't even see that coming from them.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and
Mhm.
that's what you have to do. You have to take that risk.
Mhm. Mhm. Let's talk about the bird. I saw a recent. We did an interview with you about that. I think
Hmm.
Jeremy was out here, and I saw you got a Facebook page on it, right?
Right.
So tell me a little bit what that's about and what's going on. And I saw some pictures of you and Tony Camp. Is that
Right.
okay?
The Berg is still definitely in production. It's a great story, and everybody that's read the synopsis of it, they love it, and they
Mhm.
say, "Well, man, this is kind of like The Wire," and I'm like, "It's not really like The Wire because the theme is different. It basically deals with religion and politics, and
Mhm.
how religion is the politics in this particular town. So it's not Lynchburg per se.
Okay.
It's just the Berg. So this
Got
Berg could be anywhere. It's just some of the elements from here
it.
is
Mhm.
in it, just like some elements from Pittsburgh is in here. So there's different elements in here.
And you are producing,
I
acting. What you
wrote
doing?
it. I don't even know if I'm gonna act in this one yet.
All right.
I wrote it. I'm producing it, and that's pretty much all that I'm doing.
Okay.
Doing with this one, I may write a small character in for myself, just to give myself a little bit.
Right.
But I don't feel the need to have to be in all of my films
So how many films do you have so far?
that I've produced or that I've
Yeah.
been in.
Yeah. Well, first that you've been in. How many is that?
Um,
Or shows or any? Too many.
Maybe about 26,
Wow.
about 26, and that's including independent films,
Okay.
and
And that you've done.
that I've produced myself. The Berg will be my fourth. My first one, it was good, good story, definitely original, and it didn't really get all the greatest reviews just because it was so different,
Mhm.
and we was very limited on our budget with that one. The second one, which was Jerusalem, fared pretty well, and we're still, that's still out there. In fact, Miss Jennifer Petticolis is going to be working on the play adaptation of it.
Okay.
So,
Okay. I think my friend Jamal.
yeah, he starred in it,
Okay. Okay.
and then I did Henry, which I won 2 awards for.
Nice.
I won for Best Actor and
Now,
Best
where did
Short
you
Film.
play? Did you do that here?
No,
Okay.
This was done in Chesterfield,
Okay.
and so I won for that at the Mid-Atlantic Black Film Festival. Beat out a lot of good films and a lot of real talented actors. And
So wait, you have produced, acted, done all this stuff, and you haven't studied it.
no,
You're doing this all. You're
This-
not you're not taking the the conventional route,
no,
and you don't have to.
I don't feel that I need to because I feel that I've been blessed with the knowledge that I have. Now, granted, I'm no household name yet, but I do have a
You
whole
more
lot
than
of.
most people around. We talking about you. We sitting down with you right now. I think.
I do have a whole lot of networkings, and to be honest with you, I didn't realize how deep my connections were until I worked on Zoo. And Deidre Tate, and I'm sure a lot of people are not going to know her by name, but she was the one that really put together the Flavor Unit, which is Queen Latifah's company.
Okay.
So she's the one that brought together groups like Naughty by Nature and Red Man, who ended up going to Def Squad or whatever. But I met her a few years ago. I had no idea she was involved with this project. So when I get up there, she's like, "Oh my God, it's Eli." And she started introducing me to all these people. I mean, some of these people were artists, like Boys of the Underground, which was one of my favorite hip hop groups in the 90s. They were in the film,
Yeah.
and she introduced me to these people, telling them, "Man, he's an award-winning, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, wow,
Right.
Deidre Tate is connecting me to some deep
See?
people.
There you go.
And so, because of my integrity and the type of individual that I am, I'm able to build those type of relationships.
And I feel like, a lot of people might look at your situation and think, man, he's really made it. And, they might look at it and say, well, gosh, I need to go to acting school. I need to do this and that. And that's good. They can do that. But you know what, right now, a lot of people maybe can't afford it, So, I think what you're saying is experience. Believe in yourself, get out there and do it.
Well, I'll tell you this. The reason why I started producing projects is because I have so many ideas, and it was like I tried to shop out some of the stuff. I couldn't get investors at all. For whatever reason, I just couldn't land investors. I said, okay, I'm just gonna start shooting some stuff myself, And I think with people like that, people that, like you mentioned, go out here and shoot some of your own stuff. Let that be your calling card or your business card. I shot Henry initially as a short film. I did it just so I can put it out there for funding. I didn't have any idea that I was going to win awards for it at all. And I mean, if you go on IMDb, it's got like 8.8 stars out of 10 rating.
Tell me a little bit about Henry. What is that?
Henry deals with this guy who's been unemployed for several months and finds an opportunity to be self-employed as a subcontractor. And he has a wife, 2 kids with another on the way. And the guy he ends up going to work for screws him out of money really bad. And he sinks into this deep depression, and he contemplates killing his family and then himself.
Wow.
And so that was kind of inspired by a situation that happened out in California and a job that I worked sometime back where a guy really screwed everybody that worked for him and ended up trying to skip in town and not paying anybody. And so I drew from that experience and the story that I read in California about the guy who lost his job and couldn't take care of his family, so he killed everybody.
So that was true. He actually.
Yeah, that really happened. And I told this story to show just how bad and desperate things are in this country for some people. Because there's no more Archer Creek Foundry. There's no more, jobs that a lot of people grew up with. Back when I was coming up, if you knew somebody in your neighborhood that worked at the foundry or worked at B&W or, worked at one of these great places. And when you got to high school, you're going to get a job. You didn't need to go to college, and it's not like that anymore. And you just find a lot of people that are struggling.
Right. That was my mama, Thomasville. That's out in Appomattox.
Is it? The furniture place?
Yeah, it's gone.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, cleaned out. And that's, as long as I can remember, that's where she's worked. And she was out of work for a while, but finally found one But anyway, yeah, I know
Wow.
exactly what you're talking about. What was the last thing you just said? I had something I wanted to ask you that you were just talking about.
It was about Henry.
Okay, so how many? You said 4 or 5 that you've done.
Four, yeah. The Berg would be my fourth.
So, but Henry, you would say probably has been the most successful.
Definitely, by far. And in fact, we got a couple of names interested in the feature length. We were talking with Kimberly Elise's people. And they were interested in it. And Richard Reilly, he's attached, like he loved it. He said it was a very sad story. He read the whole script and he was like, man, this is deep. He was like, I definitely want to be involved. So we got him.
So as far as from a producer standpoint, why do you think it is that Henry was so much more successful than the other ones you've done?
You know, I really can't say. I think Jerusalem was a very controversial film because it dealt with Muslim and Jew relations, and the love story between the two. And I'm not Mel Gibson, so I don't have Mel Gibson money to fund it and put it in theaters myself. You know, like if Mel Gibson was me and tried to do Passion of the Christ, it wouldn't have went anywhere. But because he was able to, fund it himself, so I think I would have to have had the Mel Gibson type status for that to be really successful. I think it was controversial. With my first one, Saga, it was just really a different film. It was just it was a sort of a martial arts drama. It was just really different.
But you also kind of said that in Henry, I mean, it was real life. I mean, this is, a lot of people can probably
Identify
see where
with
this is
it.
coming from.
Yeah, yeah, and a lot of people were touched by it. The whole celebrity panel loved the film. The only thing they were curious about was the filming technique that I used, because I did a different technique with it. We did
Like the
a
way
lot
you
of,
shot it and stuff?
yeah, we shot it with quick zooms and pans, and a lot of. I just wanted to try something different.
Yeah.
And in some instances, it might have been a little overdone, but for the most part, it worked.
And what that kind of makes me think of is, have you seen The Descendants with George Clooney? Have you seen
No.
that yet? Well, anyway, it's very much, I don't know if you guys might have seen it, very much just about real life. This guy, his wife, has a really bad accident, and, she dies. He's going through all this trouble with family.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? And it's won all kinds of awards so far. And I just feel like, I'm not necessarily, a film producer or anything, but that's kind of the connection I'm seeing. If people can really dig deep into like the core of what human nature, and what people really go through, that those are going to be one of your best.
If Henry was on a larger scale, I have no doubt that it would have won multiple awards. Just for the celebrity panel that was there alone, they, I smoked the competition with it.
Really?
I did. And all of them, like Monty Ross, he was Spike Lee's partner who helped create 40 Acres and a Mule. All of them wrote letters. Michael Ajagaway, he's an award-winning screenwriter.
Is there any way you can take it further?
That's what we're trying to do.
Okay.
We're trying to get the funding for it. So that one, I have a couple other projects that are on the back burner that has some names attached to it. It's just a matter of getting funding.
Got it. Okay.
Funding for it. But yeah, you're right. Stories that people can identify with, it really, yeah. And the thing about that too is that it didn't have a happy ending. A lot of your films and stories, you have the silver lining. There was no silver lining in Henry because no one made it. And the way that I did the short film, I kind of left it a little bit open-ended at the end to leave it to a person's interpretation on what they would do.
Right.
So like when he actually confronts the guy who screwed all of them out of money, you don't hear a gunshot, you hear a flat line. You hear a quick pulsating heart and then a flat line. So I leave it up to the person's, what they would have done if they was in that situation. He gets out of the truck at the end, comes home with the gun, his family's in the house. Leave it open to what that person would have did.
You got to see The Descendants.
Yeah.
It's exactly, it's what you're saying, the same type, the way they did it.
Okay.
That's interesting. But I mean, they're
But
both
mine came out
award-winning.
first.
That's true. That's
Yes.
true. No. The actual story is very different. But just what you're doing, I mean, I think that's just a common theme of kind of like that's, you're doing a successful thing. You got George Clooney doing a successful thing over here. And it's just like certain things you got to kind of learn what the people like, because that's what's going to win is how many people going to buy your tickets and what people, the critics think of it, right?
Right.
Anyway, but that's neat. I mean, obviously a very talented man.
Thank you.
Let me think. I think I'm. So right now, let's just talk about the nail. So the Berg is something that's going on. Are you taping here now or?
No, I'm still trying to get all the pieces together.
Okay.
It's difficult to find people that are as passionate. You know what I'm saying?
That have that integrity you were
Yeah,
talking about.
as passionate. So, um, it's really boiling down to me just assembling the right people. You know, I'm talking with a really really good camera person. In fact, he filmed Zoo,
Okay.
and he read over the story and he really liked it. And he's just really booked up right now because he's doing documentaries and a bunch of other stuff. But he really wants to shoot this one.
Okay.
I was talking with Tretch at the rap party about the project, and he liked the concept of it. And I know that I could get him because I have a relationship with Deidre Tate, who takes care of all these people.
Right.
You know, so it's just a matter of getting all the right pieces in place. And I still plan to shoot some here. I don't know if I'm going to shoot the whole thing entirely here. It just really does depend on all the pieces that I put together. Like, I need a harbor. There's no harbor here,
Right.
so I might have to shoot down in Portsmouth or something, or shoot up at Richmond
Yeah.
on their docks. But I still want to shoot some stuff here. I just have to, it just has to be that reliability. I have to be able to count on people, and that's just a difficult thing. Some people may be really busy, and some people tend to take on more than they should, and think that they're able to do things and not able to.
Yeah.
So that's really what it boils
Where's
down
that
to.
right now?
And I was planning on really doing the auditions this month at New Millennium Studios at Tim Reed and Daphne Reed Studio, because I deal with them all the time, and I had already had the date booked. And then I got contacted about a week ago about Steps. So it's supposed to start filming near the end of this month, the beginning of next month. So I have to push the Berg back again because of
Yeah.
Steps.
And where will you be filming that? Steps?
Jersey City.
Jersey City. Okay. What's that about? I'm guessing.
This is a coming of age story. This is about a kid who wants to become something. He's surrounded by drug dealers, family drug type of people, stuff like that, and they won't allow him or try to stop him from breaking out of what they want him to do. So he's really trying to break free and become something, and the people around him are keeping him down.
Okay. What's your part in there?
I'm one of the antagonists.
Oh, yeah?
I'm one of the people that's keeping them down.
Okay.
Yeah,
You're the bad guy.
my guy's name is Mo, and yeah, I beat up people in wheelchairs, and I know it's so outside of my character. It's so outside of who I am as a person, but yeah.
Is that hard to do? I mean, do you feel bad?
Not in this instance, because this guy really pushed it. I guess he felt because he was in a wheelchair that he could talk trash and
Okay.
bully me around and smack me. So I had to put him in his place in this one. Then
Sometimes you gotta do that.
let's see. And then I think I hop out of a truck and I beat up somebody with a hockey stick.
Oh, God.
And so there's different things that I do in this
Okay.
one. But yeah, that's so outside of who I am. But I
Yeah,
like
that's
playing that kind of
acting,
stuff.
that's acting.
I love it. I love playing those roles, because anyone that knows me is like, man, that's not Eli, but dang, he did a good job with
Right.
that. Yeah.
Right, that's what
So,
you want to hear.
Yeah.
Well, I just kind of want to close it off with, someone coming out of Heritage, EC Glass, or Appomattox, Amherst. What, overall advice would you give, on just a successful life, and kind of following your dream, kind of like what you've done? Looking back, what would you say, maybe even if you would have done something different, or even if just, what kind of advice, life advice?
I would say, don't make yourself restricted to what other people say or think about you. I think too many people get influenced by those around them and aren't willing to take a chance. Like when I first told people I wanted to do this stuff, only a handful of people, really believed in it. Other people were like, oh yeah, whatever. Didn't have any faith in me or whatever. And I stepped outside that. I'm like, okay, y'all can say and think what you want, but this is what I'm going to do. as long as I got a wife at home that supports me in doing this, you know, if she would have said, well, Eli, I don't think so, I might have taken it into consideration. Not saying I would completely shut it down, but I would have thought about it, you know, but having her support really helped fuel me to go out and do it. So I would say, you know, don't don't be held within the box that people try to keep you in. If you feel that you need to go out here and make something happen, to go and do it, because you're living your life for you, not for them.
And I think it's safe to say that pretty much anybody, you're going to come across some people that are going to give you some negative feedback.
And most of it is within your inner circle. It'll be your family, it'll be friends. You know, out of 20 people, you might get 2 that's going to support it. You know, and that's what it was with me. I'd say out of all the people that I knew, 0.1% were the ones that, and these are the same people now that'll send me messages, oh, I knew you could do it, and, you know, like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. I knew the stuff you were
Now
saying
they're proud
about
of
me.
you.
Yeah, I knew the stuff that you were saying about me, and, you know, but I don't say anything. I'm like, okay, you know, I was like, thank you for the support. Even if I knew these people were bad, trash talking me and counting me out, I still say thank you.
Yeah.
You know, thank you. I appreciate the support. You know, and that humility, it burns them up. It's more than any type of cuss out or layout. You know, being humble and, you know, thank you burns them up. You know, so don't be kept within the box that people try to keep you in. You know, God designed each of us with something special and a gift to give to other people. And for you to listen to someone else on what they think you should do, you're withholding blessings from other people.
I like it. Anyone else have any questions you want to ask Eli? Jennifer?
I would like him to comment on the mentor. One of my favorite quotes is by Angela. What am I trying to say? Maya Angelou. Thank you. And in our grandmother, she says, when you get, you give, and when you learn, you teach. So it's a matter of reaching back. And I just want you to just mention his name because he was in school when I was in school. Lynchburg, who was a mentor to you.
Mr. Carl Anderson.
Yes, sir.
Mr.
Let's
Carl.
talk about Carl.
Carl, you know, I didn't really get to meet him like I wanted to because at that time he was living in LA. But when I first got started in this, I was told to reach out to him. And I can't remember who it was, but they talked with Carl, and Carl told them to give me his number. And we talked, gosh, maybe for a couple of weeks. And Carl was a very stern individual, you know, very in your
scary
face,
to some people.
aggressive. Yeah, but I love that because if he would have been pampering and, you know, all that
You
other
can
stuff,
respect it, right?
it wouldn't prepare me. This is the most dog eat dog business next to politics, you know, and sometimes it goes hand in hand with it. But it's a real hateful business to the core of it, you know. Very few people are very gentle. You know, it's not a very gentle business. And Carl, I think Carl was prepping me, you know, for the business.
So you could take it.
Oh yeah, I could deal with it. And I mean, he told me flat out, you know, this is what you're going to need to do. You know, don't BS around. If you're going to do it, put both your feet in it. Be 100%, be 110%. You know, he was telling me this is what you need to do. You know, don't come in here halfway with it and expect to get anything out of it. Don't expect to get rich off of it. And like he was going through the list, and I'm just listening like, wow. You know, I mean, but I could deal with it. It wasn't like I was thinking, oh man, this dude is an a-hole, you know, or nothing like that. It was just like, man, he's really telling me the business, you know. And I was planning on meeting him, but unfortunately, he passed away. But he really gave me some great insight on his business and ways to look at things. So I think that's also why I probably had sort of a thick skin that can deal with rejection.
Right.
Is because he had already told me, you're going to get denied. You know, there's going to be someone that looks better than you, someone that's bigger than you, taller than you, more talented than you, whatever. You still go out there and do what you need to do.
Don't stop at that first audition.
Yeah, don't stop.
Basically.
Keep going.
Yeah.
You know, and I walked away with that.
Yeah. I'm sitting here watching American Idol, and that's all I'm thinking. It's like, just don't stop. Just go get a little bit of training and come back.
And you never know who watches you.
Right.
You know, and it's good that you brought that up because one of the things I noticed, and we talk about this all the time, is even those who don't win the actual show, some of them get so much exposure they get picked up anyway. You know, and when you do this type of stuff, even if you got the smallest part, somebody's going to see you. You know, I found myself, we'll sit here and look at movies, and we'll see someone like an extra or somebody with the smallest part, but somehow they stuck out. And so instead of looking at, you know, the main characters, we're looking at this extra. You know, so
You
yeah,
never
but
know.
to speak on that, Carl was very influential in the beginning for me. Like he was the first, I'll say, celebrity to really spend time and talk to me.
And what was his position? How did you know him?
I mean, I met him
Was he
through
a
somebody
teacher,
else.
professor, or did he act, or?
Oh yeah, oh God, yeah, Jesus Christ Superstar.
Okay.
Yeah, Carl was a magnificent actor.
Okay.
Very, very strong presence. Like he had a real dominating presence. Like he took command of whatever scene he's in. He took command of that scene.
Right.
That was Carl.
Okay. Anyone else? Question for Eli. Is this your daughter?
Yeah, that's my daughter. I love making films, and
Have your kids been in any?
my daughter had a small cameo in my first project. And I'm gonna tell you
like
though.
acting too?
I'm gonna tell you what though. She was so professional on the set. There was this little girl. She had to have been about maybe 5 years old at the time. And this little girl kept talking. And Samara was like, shh, when they say action, you be quiet. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
setting a good example.
yeah,
Okay.
she definitely has the charisma, the beauty. She's